This is the one thing that I know for a fact that Democrats are heavy on is prescription drugs. And all this talking about the right and how they're going to raise the prices of drugs and all that. And now Trump is actually putting in an executive order to decrease it. But for some odd reason, you don't hear nobody from the left saying anything about it. Why not? Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Blue, and it's just interesting to me when we get into politics. And again, we want to look at this from an open lens, from an open perspective. So if there's anything that I'm missing, anything that's wrong, I'll be free to correct me. Be free to correct me. I will take a look and I'll validate and I will say where I'm wrong, and that'll be more information for me and more truth that I would know. But based off of what I'm seeing here, it's weird. Now, if things happen, of course, I'm going to try to look at both sides as much as I can and dig up wherever I can at both sides as much as I can. Currently, at the moment, Trump has been signing some more executive orders. Again, signing way more executive orders than I've seen in the past with the Biden administration. Now, granted, I didn't focus too much on the Biden administration, so I don't know what executive orders he's been putting out. But if he has been putting them out, they may have not been that substantial, considering there hasn't been much talk about it. But people know about a lot of the executive orders that Trump has been putting out. Of course, they're affecting people, but isn't that what the whole executive orders is? But anyways, so the reason for me, so the information that's coming out right now with President Trump is that he's putting in the executive order to reduce prescription medicine prices anywhere from 30% to 80%. Some sources say. Other sources say we're going to match whatever is the lowest cost in other countries, which is a bit much and is a bit reaching. So as always, guys, I always get my information from ground.news. This is where I saw it first before I looked online. If I know that it's here, then I know that it's true. And I see all of the sides and who's biased and who went not. And apparently everything is center leaning. So it's nothing on the right, nothing on the left. This is mainly information that's pretty factual. Donald Trump says he will sign executive orders to slash prices of prescription drugs in the U.S., slashing prices by 30 to 80%. I will sign one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. It is unclear what specific drugs or payments the new directive will affect. All we know is that's the idea that he's trying to do right now. How much thought is being put into this? Is this one of those things where Trump is just deciding, yeah, I'm going to make these changes, I'm going to put these executive orders, and then not really seeing the consequences? Because there's only two ways to really look at this situation. If it was this easy, why wasn't it done before? It's either that or this is so crucial and is so complex that doing this could cause issues if it does pass. But we don't know. What I do know is I'm seeing a lot of sources from other countries. We see Switzerland, we see France. We do have one from Boston, but it's center leaning. We have another one from the United States, but it's from the right. United States, New York Post, all that stuff. I don't see, and we see Fox, the Fox right here, but we see nothing from MSNBC, NBC. Okay, here's one from CNN. Let's see. President Donald Trump announced Sunday that he plans to resurrect the controversial policy from his first term that aims to reduce drug costs by basing payments for certain medicines on their prices in other countries. So I don't understand. I don't get it. What was the method that they were complaining about before? You see what I'm saying? Like, CNN is seems to be the only left-leaning American that's really talking about this, something as big as this. And that's the weird thing, because Democrats were all about, the right is gonna make our prescriptions cost more. All of the older people that need their prescription drugs, they're going to be paying more money, this, that, and the third. And now Trump is sitting here trying to slice the cost of prescription drugs. But you have so many sources of the left that's not saying anything. And then you have CNN saying that this is a controversial, trying to match. Okay, well then what was the solution? What solution do we have? We just leave it where it's at, or we just try to make it better? Because by the sound of it, it wasn't that great before. But anyways, let's go ahead and go to live now from Fox and see specific information that they got. They posted this 3 hours ago.
Welcome back on Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. We're getting some breaking news in. President Trump saying that he plans to sign an executive order to cut prescription drug prices by mandating that the U.S. pay the same price for drugs as whichever country pays the lowest price in the world. He put a lengthy statement on Truth Social. Here's what the statement says. I believe we have the entire thing to show. And there it is.
For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals in the United States of America were so much higher than the prices than they were in other nations, sometimes being 5 to 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the exact same laboratory or plant by the same company. Okay, this is exactly what people has been talking about. Prescription drugs in America just cost too much, whereas in other countries, they don't. But why is that? It's always difficult to explain and very embarrassing because, in fact, there is no correct and rightful answer. The pharmaceutical drug companies would say for years that it was research and development costs, and that all these costs were and would be for no reason whatsoever borne by suckers of America alone. Campaign contributions can do wonders, but not with me and not with the Republican Party. We are going to do the right thing, something that the Democrats have fought for many years. Therefore, I am pleased to announce that tomorrow morning in the White House, 9 a.m., I will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. Prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 30 to 80%. They will rise throughout the world in order to equalize, and for the first time in many years, bringing fairness to America. I will be instituting most favored nations policy, whereby the United States will pay the same price as a nation that pays the lowest price anywhere in the world. Okay, let me think about this real quick. So, I don't know if you guys recall the video that I did in regards to the tariffs and my theory on Trump's reason for doing the tariffs and how this is kind of just a game. He doesn't really plan on intending on keeping this going, but he's trying to set a precedent that we are America. We can do this and you will suffer. And by the many videos that I'm seeing, China right now is suffering heavy, but I don't think they're going to try and let up. But apparently some things are kind of in the works. Not really. There are some talks at least, but I don't think anything has been set in stone yet. But that's the plan, to let these other nations know that this is America, the strongest nation in the country. And we're not just going to sit here and keep giving handouts and be worked like slaves and having all our stuff cost extra money when they really don't have to because everybody else is smooching off of us type thing. That's my idea. And that's the case here when he says, where he says prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately, 30 to 80%. They will rise throughout the world in order to equalize. And for the first time in many years, bring fairness to America. So I think this is going to be another one of those situations like what he did with NATO when he backed out, because he realized that America was paying most of the cost for everything that was going around the world while the other nations weren't. And even though we're America and we probably do have those funds, we don't have any more, then they think that they could just mooch off of us because they're, checking our pockets type thing. So now thinking about the pharmaceuticals, why is it that all the other countries can pay less while we pay more? Well, that's because America, for some reason, decided to allow that to happen to where they pay more. If everything that he's saying is true and we're paying the same companies for these pharmaceuticals, we just pay more than everybody else. Then if we pay less, the pharmaceutical companies, they got to get their money somehow, which means they got to charge other nations more, which I guess that can bring up the question of morale. How are you going to make other nations pay more money? But it's like, the thing is, are we going to care about the other nations or are we going to care about the people in America? Who do we worry about first? Am I saying in my household, am I going to care for other people first before I care about my household? Am I going to take the last piece of bread and give it to my neighbor? Or am I going to give the last piece of bread to my family and I don't eat type thing? That's just my whole thought process. This is again making sure that other nations know exactly who America is, and we're not just going to sit here and allow our nations to keep, or at least Trump isn't going to sit here and allow other nations to just keep smooching off of us. Everybody's going to do their fair share. Well, everybody is going to be on the same playing field. It doesn't matter how much America is making, quote unquote. we're paying too much. Essentially, we're paying too much, and it's time for other countries to pay up. Which I don't know if what he says is true. This may cause more issues because the whole tariff thing caused issues for a while, but things are looks like it's starting to ease up. But now with the pharmaceuticals, this may be a reflection of the tariffs and may cause issues if what he's saying is true about us paying less means that other countries pay more. So interestingly enough, once again, I don't see much information from the left, even though I'm typing these news centers specifically, but they're not talking about it. I would think that the people, and this is my thing, and I know the right does it too, because this is all the game of politics. But we need to really understand if the Dems are supposed to be heavy for the people, if this was something that could have been done before, why didn't we do it? Because they also care about other people, which I get. You should care about other people, but the people of this country are suffering a lot. There's a lot of people in this country that are suffering, and they're living and they're suffering. How can you really help somebody else without helping yourself first? Type thing. But again, you guys, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. That's gonna be the news for today. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Y'all take it easy. Peace.